There, yes, this is my first poetry talk, so I'm a little bit nervous. I think I'll actually try. I mean, most of the videos that I've been making, I've been doing them straight off without any editing or anything, but I think I may make more of an attempt with this one and do it in several sections to try and make it seem smoother and potentially more professional, though I should probably shouldn't be telling you all this beforehand. Well, I just want to introduce this book. I don't know whether you can see it. It might be, in fact, it's a mirrored image, isn't it, on the video? It's called Country Poems, and I'm very fond of it because it was given me when I was in hospital. I was in a really bad state of feeling really down about things, and things hadn't gone the way I'd intended or hoped, and felt a bit victimized. And then a lady who I don't know very well bought me this book in the National Trust shop. And she was worried apparently because she knew that I'd studied some literature, and she was worried that this may be, there may be a lot of poems in it that I already know, but there are plenty of surprises in it actually. And I mean, some of the ones that, I mean, they're all country poems. So, it was beautiful sitting in that hospital ward. It was a very modern, it was in an old hospital, but a very modern hospital ward with no decorations, and very, almost inhuman, and very austere really in its own way. And there I could sit reading about the outside world, and I wasn't allowed outside, and sort of seeing the clouds though through the window, and in that way being joined with the outside world, and knowing that there was something waiting out there for me that I could rejoin after a little while. So it gave me a great sense of hope, and it was also so nice that this lady had got me this book as a gesture, and I felt thought about, and it was very nice. So the poem I want to read today and talk about is from the section, I mean, there's beautiful illustrations in this book as well, colour illustrations, and the book is organised into sections according to the seasons. So in accordance with what time of year it is now, or maybe, well, you'll see when you see the poem I'm choosing to read. It's called Winter, and it's by William Morris. And it's only a very short poem. It says, I am winter, that do keep longing safe amidst of sleep. Who shall say if I were dead, what should be remembered? And that's it. So, I mean, I think that is a very interesting poem, because this year I was worried that winter wasn't gonna come. I really was. I mean, it's been so lovely with all the lovely sunny days, and stretching out the summer, but like, we've been looking a little bit hesitantly, thinking, well, is this due to global warming? Are we going to actually see winter? Like, if winter were dead, then I'm afraid, I don't know what would happen in this country, because we need that kind of check and balance, to stop nature getting out of control in its own way. We do need those kind of checks and balances to keep the seasons going in the summer. And of course the Arctic, if that does warm up, then and if there are no cold places on the planet, then we'll be in really very grave difficulties. And so winter is necessary. But not only that, this poem reminds us, I think, with this, what should be remembered, of the glints of warmth and companionship that we can sometimes feel huddling around the fire, and when the evenings draw in, and maybe some people play on the piano or the violin, or it's just that time to kind of not be out and about so much and find some home comfort, in fact. And there's something very beautiful about that, and quite exciting. It's quite romantic, the English winter time, if you are able to cover the costs of heating, and have plenty to eat, then it can be a lovely time of year, watching the early, in a late afternoon, that grey creeping in, darkening, everything sort of fading into dusk really quickly. And that dusk, I've always found, is quite magical, because you can't see the outlines of shapes, and so everything is like not clearly marked. It's guesswork. And you'd have maybe thought that I would have been frightened of guesswork, but I actually welcome it. I think it's a spiritual thing not to have those clear edges, not to have that definition, and in a way that's a kind of communing with nature, that our minds have to sort of guess and work around nature, and sometimes nature comes and plants itself in front of us and we haven't seen it properly. So I think it's a lovely time of year in many respects. And I'm so glad now that the winter is at last drawing in, and I will start worrying now about the usual things, like about the greyness and maybe about having to have the heating on and everything. But I'm thankful that it's come. I really am. And I've been thinking as well about our emotional lives. Well, sometimes we go through periods where there again, it's maybe all checks and balances, that there are some times, and maybe even drawn out periods like winter, where we just have to retreat a bit and get ourselves back together again. And maybe we've had obstacles placed in our way. There are more obstacles to overcome in winter time, and but maybe we can hope, like we do when it's winter here, in our emotional lives as well, that a spring will eventually come, and to start hoping and building plans for when it does. Okay then, well, that's my first thought adventure, so I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.